The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long, eerie shadows across the small, quiet town of Willowbrook. It was the kind of place where everyone knew each other's names, and secrets were buried deep beneath layers of gossip and whispered tales. In the heart of this town lived a girl named Emily. She was 17, with raven black hair that flowed like a river down her back. Her striking green eyes held a depth that hinted at a mysterious world hidden within her. Emily was known as the quiet girl, the one who always had her nose buried in books and her mind lost in distant fantasies. She preferred the company of her own thoughts over the idle chatter of her classmate. As the town prepared for Halloween, Emily's fascination with the supernatural grew. She spent countless hours in the town library, poring over old books about witches, ghosts, and unexplained disappearances. Her obsession had led her to discover a legend, a story that had been whispered through the town's generations, the tale of the Vanishing Shadows. According to the legend, every year on Halloween night, shadows in Willowbrook came to life. They would detach from their owners and roam the town freely, seeking something or someone to claim. The townsfolk whispered about the unexplained disappearances that had occurred on Halloween nights, attributing them to the Vanishing Shadows. Emily had always been skeptical of such tales, believing them to be nothing more than stories designed to spook the young and gullible. But as Halloween approached, an insatiable curiosity gnawed at her. She decided to investigate the legend, driven by a need to uncover the truth hidden within the shadows. On the fateful night of October 31st, Emily donned her long, dark cloak and slipped out of her window. The moon hung low in the sky, casting an eerie glow over the town. The streets were empty, and a hushed tension filled the air. Emily could feel her heart pounding in her chest as she wandered deeper into the heart of Willowbrook. She walked past rows of dimly lit houses, their windows adorned with carved pumpkins and flickering candles. The town square was transformed into a Halloween carnival, but there was an unmistakable sense of unease among the revelers. Emily approached the town's ancient oak tree, where, as legend had it, the Vanishing Shadows would first appear. Standing beneath its gnarled branches, Emily waited, her eyes fixed on the tree's shadow. Time seemed to stretch endlessly, and she was on the verge of dismissing the legend as pure fiction when she saw it, a shadow that detached itself from the base of the tree. Emily's heart raced as she watched the shadow take form. It was like nothing she had ever seen before. It stood, vaguely human in shape, but its features were distorted, elongated, and contorted, as if it was a grotesque reflection of reality. The shadow's movements were erratic, and it seemed to be searching for something. With bated breath, Emily followed the shadow as it glided through the streets of Willowbrook. It was moving toward the outskirts of town, and Emily trailed it, her curiosity outweighing her fear. The shadow led her to an old, abandoned house at the edge of the woods, a place Emily had always believed to be haunted. She watched as the shadow slipped through a crack in the house's decaying wooden door. Emily hesitated for a moment before summoning the courage to follow it inside. The air was thick with dust and the scent of rot. Cobwebs hung from the ceilings like ethereal curtains. As she ventured deeper into the darkness, Emily's heart pounded louder in her chest. She called out, her voice trembling, "Is anyone there?" There was no response, only an eerie silence that seemed to swallow her words. Emily's flashlight flickered, casting eerie, dancing shadows on the decrepit walls. She continued deeper into the house, her footsteps echoing through the abandoned halls. Finally, she reached a room at the end of a long, narrow corridor. The shadow was there, hovering in the center of the room. Emily's flashlight illuminated the room, revealing a scene that sent shivers down her spine. In the corner of the room, a collection of old, weathered photographs lay scattered on the floor. They depicted people from Willowbrook, people who had vanished on Halloween nights throughout the years. Emily recognized their faces from the town's history books, their stories buried beneath layers of secrecy and fear. The shadow seemed to be drawn to the photographs, circling them like a vulture. Emily approached cautiously, her eyes fixed on the bizarre entity. As she reached for one of the photographs, the shadow suddenly lunged at her with a hiss, its contorted form stretching and distorting. Emily screamed and stumbled backward, dropping the photograph. The shadow recoiled, retreating into the darkest corner of the room. It seemed as if the photograph had protected her, but she had no idea why. She took a deep breath and made a decision. She would uncover the truth behind the legend of the Vanishing Shadows, no matter the cost. Gathering her courage, Emily picked up the photograph once more and examined it closely. The photograph was of a young girl, about Emily's age, with long, flowing hair and striking green eyes, just like hers. The girl's name was Eliza, and she had vanished on Halloween night 30 years ago. Emily couldn't help but feel a deep connection to this girl, as if their fates were somehow intertwined. With the photograph in hand, Emily left the abandoned house and made her way back to town. She was determined to uncover the secrets of the Vanishing Shadows and bring an end to the curse that had plagued Willowbrook for generations.